Hi, and welcome to this podcast between Nockolds Lawyers Spain and Perfect Place Estepona Real Estate Agency. Today we're going to be talking with Suzanne and Tracy from Perfect Place and Flor and myself from Nockolds, and we're going to be discussing purchasing property and the legal process behind it in the beautiful town of Estepona. Hope you enjoy. So welcome Tracy and Suzanne, how are you today?
Good, thank you.
Really
Thank
good.
you. Yeah,
Really
yeah.
good.
Welcome.
It would be lovely in the first instance to hear a little bit about Perfect Place and how it developed and everything.
Okay, well, Perfect Place was started about 3 years ago. It was born out of an idea that real estate needed to be done slightly differently, putting the customer at the heart of absolutely everything we do, not just in the buying process, but also to integrate people into Spain, forming clubs with them, finding out what their interests are, what their children wanted to do, and basically just creating this community around them so they'd feel really comfortable when they came here, because that was something that we'd experienced that when we arrived, added an extra service and an extra level of comfort to people.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's not just a transaction. It's
exactly
you're bringing people over to the country and you're showing them how to integrate and everything.
Exactly, because actually that community is so important, especially in the early days.
So it's like offering a one-stop shop, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Really. So saying to clients, you come, we'll help you buy a property, but we'll also help integrate you into the community. We'll find you schools. We'll help you with hospitals. And also really listening to the clients to see what they needed, you know, because there are so many options out there, and a lot in our experience, other agents weren't really listening, and in our actual buying experience. So
taking time with clients to find out what they really want, not pushing them into a particular property that may seem right to them, but with experience of knowing how life is in Spain, certain things that become evident. So maybe, you know, they take some time and really get to know Estepona and make it a process.
Yeah.
So it has a good outcome.
Yeah.
Very similar to how we work, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're a law firm, but at the heart of it, we want to bring people over and not, it's not just a transaction of buying property or immigration or wills or anything, is it? We really go above and beyond to help our clients. So
make people feel really comfortable. So Suzanne and I own Perfect Place together, and we have exactly the same values and exactly the same ambition of helping people succeed in Spain.
Oh, fantastic.
And Estepona is just the perfect.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's just the perfect place. I mean, if we
couldn't have a better title then.
No, perfect place, exactly. I mean, for us, I mean, apart from the fact it's so safe, I mean, we love the fact for our children Estepona is so safe, but also, you know, for all sorts of things, for investment, there's great opportunities. We've seen the property prices increase, the square metre price increase.
Absolutely.
If you want to retire, then it's a perfect place. You know, you can find all sorts of things that you can do if you live locally. There are lots of groups that you can join, so you never really feel lonely. Because obviously we've had families here.
Yeah.
And we've
had families, we've started businesses, we've had all those experiences over the years.
Absolutely.
I've been here 18 years, Suzanne's been here 20 years. It's changed so dramatically in that time, and it's evolved, but we've got all those tools handy to help other people.
And obviously we've watched Estepona sort of change, but only for the better. You know, it's had so much money put into the infrastructure, into the local services, to the environment, to improving the beaches, to improving the streets. So it's not too hard to sell, is it?
And also the other thing about Estepona, there's so many things happening. You know, like there's a Starlight Festival in Marbella, so you're not missing out on big acts coming over. You know, you've got concerts in Madrid if you want to go there. You've got all the top comedians come to Gibraltar if you want to go over there and watch comedy.
If you want some culture, you can go to Seville, Granada, Malaga. If you want a town, you know, you want a city
it's so
here.
Varied.
It's a great base.
Okay,
that's good to hear.
Well, Flor's from Estepona.
You must have really seen some changes.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of changes since, I would say, the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, Estepona always was a cozy town with the old town beauty, White House, plants. But nowadays we've got more amenities. The mayor has improved a lot the town, especially the center.
Yeah.
And so we have, we have, I think, loads of events, also entertainments. And now we have also a new theater that we didn't have in the past. So yes, there's a lot going on, and I think it's a great city to live, to grow with your family, and to grow up.
It still has a Spanish traditional
feel
of a town,
feeling of a town,
but combining it with
combined with
international.
foreigners,
Exactly.
international, but not too many. Still have the authenticity of the town.
Exactly.
Of the town.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about how we came to work together, and perhaps I should just introduce Flor at this point. Flor is lawyer at Nockolds Lawyers Spain.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm the business development manager, so kind of help run the office and get clients and things like that.
And help the people, through the conveyancing process. So
So we met probably about a year ago now, didn't we? Could you tell us a bit about how?
So we're located in town. So to have a law firm on our doorstep where we can just pop in, obviously with appointments, and ask questions and really find out information at our fingertips that we can pass to our clients that we trust and have confidence in has been so important. And it's been absolutely beneficial to our clients for us to be able to get that information so quickly. And obviously with your, you have relationships with the town hall and the Ayuntamiento, the local council. So that's been really useful for us to be able to tap into that and get answers so quickly. The procedures, absolutely.
Very
not just for conveyancing, but for probate and for tourist licenses, because obviously another part of our business is Airbnb properties. So a lot of our clients have bought for investment and then asked us to rent them out in the summer. We do the property management. So we've been able to come to you for tourist licenses, and then more recently when they've changed and added the unique license number in,
the lease number,
you've been able to manage that for our clients, and that's been really, really great as well, because it's been a complicated process.
It has, and I think the one thing about Spain sometimes is there's lots of conflicting information, especially if you go onto social media. You get lots of people telling you lots of different things, and what's been really, really refreshing is to just have one place that we can go to and get the right information.
That we can trust.
That we can trust.
And we can offer to our clients with 100% confidence.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So should we talk a little bit about Nockolds Lawyers Spain? So our team is made up of, how many lawyers have we got now? We've got three lawyers. Based permanently in Estepona. Leticia, yourself, and Rocío.
Yeah.
We got Isa, our paralegal.
Our paralegal too. And we have also our director, Javier Jurado, who is managing inheritance process with the aspect between jurisdictional UK, Spain, and yes, we are an international firm working for British, focus on British. We have a UK company in London, another office in the Bishop Stortford, and we became international. We decided to open up an office in Estepona, and how everything started. We thought the need to help expats in this area going through the process with the expertise that we have, knowing the culture, the UK culture, and knowing the area in Estepona. I think we provide a good high quality service and stress-free.
Yeah.
So in the conveyancing process, we really hold your hands and take you until the very end, where you finish with the registration of the property, and that's what we're really good at. So we manage everything.
We definitely emphasize communication. We know that there's a bit of a lack of communication between. I don't want to generalize here, but a lot of our client feedback is that communication between other Spanish law firms has not been great. So, we take our English principles and we're really focusing them over here.
Yes, and I think that comes across. It comes across that you're putting your clients' needs and you're really protecting them. You know, that's what comes across, that you're putting them first. And I think that's in your due diligence and everything that you do. And they feel protected from that, because it's really scary when you're buying a property or doing anything legal in a foreign country, because you don't have the experience.
But it's a matter to hire a good lawyer that explain you the transaction process, how the legal aspect or the red flags surrounding the transaction could be repaired or could be negotiated with the other party. So to do a stress-free transaction.
Exactly.
And it's very important to hire an independent lawyer to do the due diligence checks for this process, to also agree the terms and conditions with the seller. Usually the Spanish process, when we do a contract here, is when you let's say you have tied the transaction with the other party, you hand over a payment, and then you establish a period to complete. The completion then is through the notary public, and then you have to sign the completion documentation and then register at the land registry under your names. Here at Nockolds, we make sure all this process is smooth and easy for you.
Yes, and what's interesting about that is it doesn't matter, because obviously at Perfect Place we sell property from one price bracket right up until, we can sell villas, from apartments to villas. So, and what we've found in our experience is it doesn't matter the value of the property we sell, the quality of the service you are offering remains the same.
Oh, yes.
And that's great. That really, at Perfect Place, that really helps, doesn't it? Because we can bring whether a client's just buying a holiday home or they're buying a villa to live in, that
every
still,
single client
every client's the same.
us.
Absolutely.
And the process is always going to be the same. We will always produce. I mean, one thing that Flora and our team of lawyers are great at is the due diligence, the report that they produce. Before the clients even sign anything, we would make sure that of every red flag there could be. Not a red flag to say don't buy this property, but a red flag to say there might be a little extension here that could be illegal, or there's a bit of debt at the moment, or this community property owners doesn't allow tourist rental tourist licenses.
And then we advise how to
manage it. That's the thing,
those problems and issues that we flag on our report. And let the client to understand what type of transaction property they have on the table.
Yeah, because normally there's solutions, right? Normally to all of those situations that come up, there's always a solution. But if you don't have that guidance, that can sound scary.
Well, I mean, we recently had a client come to us, didn't we, who tried to do it all themselves, and notary just got blocked.
And they found it very difficult. Any documentation was very hard to get through. I mean, we do know very well the bureaucracy. We do have the contacts. We know the area, and we're experts in this job. So
absolutely,
and that comes across always.
Thank you.
So we thought it would be good to present to you some questions that our clients have asked us in the past.
Perfect.
That we feel would be helpful to our clients, that our existing clients and any clients we have in the future. And then they can always refer back to this podcast if they forget about. Well, we'll start off with maybe like the legal steps in buying a property in Spain.
Well, first of all, I will seek for independent legal advice. So my advice to get a lawyer to, first of all, check due diligence. The due diligence involves the process of verifying the ownership, checking the boundaries on the property, seeing whether there is any outstanding debts in the background, maybe some charges or liens in the property. It could be also taxes related like IBI, refused tax collection, or these things. Also, if applicable, we have to check the community, minutes, information, and also whether there is any debts. As lawyer, we can also ask the other party to send certificates so we can verify the status of the debt or whether the property is up to date. So that is very important at the very beginning of the transaction. Then once we have an idea what we have on the table, then we will prepare a contract for our clients. And then we will put all the terms and conditions to protect our client's interest. We have to negotiate this contract with the other party, though. But when the parties agree, the terms and conditions that we sign, and then we hand it over a payment. This payment is a commitment for both parties. So basically, if you pay a seller 10%, this is usually what the deposit is 10% of the purchase price, then the seller is committed to sell the property to you. If for any reason the seller fails on the commitment, then the seller have to pay you double of the deposit you paid.
Sometimes though, before you go to the 10%, you might pay like an initial deposit of maybe 6,000 or 10,000, depending on the value of the property, right?
Depending on the transaction and the seller and the buyer, we may convene a reservation deposit first.
Yeah.
Usually it's between 3,000, 6,000, 10,000, depending on the property value.
Yeah.
And usually it's also non-refundable, but I always like to put it subject to due diligence checks.
Yeah.
And what the seller will do is to take the property off the market.
Yeah.
So then we can assure that then both lawyers can work on the due diligence, make sure and what we have, provide the certificate or the documentation needed. And then when we have everything provided and our investigation inquiries are done, then we will go through the deposit contract.
Yeah.
So we've had examples of people that we know of that have come to Spain and paid 6,000 deposit to a buyer without getting a lawyer involved. Obviously, you'd completely.
I wouldn't advise that.
Yeah.
Because you have to first of all check if you're paying to the right owner of the property.
Yeah.
So that is very important.
Yeah.
And just establish that with your lawyer, and also establish the documentation that are in place, because it's important also to have the licenses and planning permissions.
Absolutely.
So the property must have that.
So would you recommend somebody to have a lawyer in place when they start the buying when they start looking for property?
Yes, I would recommend definitely that, because then the lawyer could give you some advices when you are searching for the property.
Yeah.
Also, the lawyer can make sure you already have the bank account opened, the NIE which is needed to purchase a property in Spain. This particular power attorney too, as my colleague said, this particular of the transaction that then you will need, especially if you are a foreigner, you need someone to do things on your behalf. So through the power of attorney, I will be able to get NIE for the clients. I will be able to open up the bank account. Yeah. Also to act on their behalf before authorities. And this will help us a lot to get the transaction to achieve the points we need.
It also helps our clients because, you know, if they're in a position where they see a property and they fall in love with it, if they don't have that in place, then they might miss the boat. Yeah. Because that property that might be sold. So it is definitely useful to have that.
They may also have other questions regarding if I can get this property. I mean, the golden visa is no longer in place, but if I can get this property, I might want to move here with my family. Can I get residency? How can I do that? What are the visa steps? So actually having a lawyer first before you've even identified your property will help you solve other questions as well that you may have coming.
Streamline all the process, and then as soon as they see a property or they made an offer, then we are able to act. We have the power of attorney in place, we have the funds on account, we have the NIE, so the process can go much quicker.
Yeah, and they don't lose their dream property.
Indeed. So then we just focus on making the due diligence and provide the information to our client before to commit to the 10%.
So basically, when people buy a property, they pay around 6,000 to take it off the market.
For a reservation, I would say yes. And 6,000 depends.
And then as soon as due diligence is done and all the checks are made, they pay 10%.
Yes.
And then it's between
and then on the 10% contract, we usually agree the period, the time frame to complete. Right. So then once the deposit is paid, I would say I have to finalize my work and gather all the documentation I need for completion, make sure the funds are here. Also, we need to run source of funds for our clients. We are required by law. And so that process will take also some time. So we have to think about all these aspects of the transaction just to do it as smoothly as possible.
Because it can differ as well, can't it? For example, like some of our clients like to buy new build properties, then you have to follow a KYC procedure. a know your client form, which you obviously offer assistance in
do.
completing, because they can be quite challenging if you're not aware of what they are, because you don't really necessarily have that, and it's quite a new regulation, isn't it?
Yeah, there are regulations in place for anti-money laundering that we have to follow. Also, the banks, when they receive a large amount, especially for non-European citizens, would be more requirements, reporting, maybe the transfer can get freeze until you support the right documentation that you've been asked for. So yes, so we have to take all these things into account.
Which they're not necessarily complicated, but if you've got someone on side, you need someone on side to guide you through that, definitely.
Yeah, and to prevent to have issues with the developer or with the seller. So I make sure I have all those documents beforehand.
Brilliant. So if somebody wanted to buy a property in Spain, what would be the cost for a lawyer, for taxes, generally?
Okay, generally I would say around 10-11% from the purchase price. I'm going to detail and break down the cost that you more or less would have. Okay, so first it would be the power of attorney. We have to prepare the power of attorney through a notary public. I can also prepare a power of attorney to sign abroad, but then perhaps the fees over there in your country will be different from the Spanish fees. It would also have to go through the police to get your NIEs. So that would be another cost on top. Also, you have notary public fees for the completion documentation. So here in Spain, we have to go through the notary to sign every single document. The notary public is really give faith to the documents we are supplying. And then it would be the exchange of money, that date, the full payment of the purchase price. After that, I have to pay the taxes. So it will be also transfer tax. In Andalusia, usually is 7%. In other region, maybe between 7 and 10%.
Right.
Okay, so it depends on the region. We also have different regulations. So that's something to take into account. But in Andalusia, it's 7% flat rate. Okay. And it would be also registration fees. So when we finalize all this process, we have to take the taxes and the documentation to the land registry. And then I will make sure everything is registered under your names. So then you will have the ownership of the property.
And that's called, in England, it's called a title deed, and in Spain, it's called an escritura.
Escritura. Yeah, we like to say completion documentation, but indeed it's escritura in Spanish.
Our clients do sometimes get, you know, because it's, they're two different names of documents.
And is there equivalent to a notary in?
In England, they have a notary, but they do. But in England, it's the conveyancing team, solicitors that does
the authority.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But it's not the same as
a notary public is more to notarize documents for. So, for instance, in Spain, if a non-EU citizen wanted to present documents for them to be legal over here, they need to notarized and legalized. So, for example, a sworn affidavit or something to prove that. I don't know.
Yeah, the figure of the notary is different completely from England to Spain.
Over here in Spain, the notary public is gospel. That is the highest authority you can have.
They provide public faith to the document that are provided. As I am checking everything, but then we will go through the step of the notary that will also check the ownership. The seller is entitled to sell, power of attorney, the same as we do. But it would be the same. It's just security for both parties.
Yes,
absolutely.
Which is great.
Yeah. So that's all the costs.
Yeah, and that would be all the costs plus our legal fees. Of course.
They want to pay that.
And your legal
usually
fees
is 1% of the purchase price. Yes.
Okay.
With a minimum fee.
Yeah.
Because if the transaction is low or higher, at the end of the day, the work is the same.
Right.
We will perform the same work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you know what that minimum fee is?
In our firm, the minimum fee is 2,500.
Right.
Okay.
Plus IVA.
Plus IVA.
Because
IVA.
that
Obviously.
sometimes causes problems.
Plus disbursements.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
The disbursement associated to the purchase I have explained. Yeah.
And what taxes can somebody expect to pay if they buy a home to rent out, for example, on Airbnb? The taxes for a
well, I'm going to say it would be the taxes related to the property itself, like property taxes, you call council tax in the UK. Here it would be EV. It's called EV tax. Okay, this is paid annually to the town hall. It's a local tax related to the property, as well as the refuse tax collection. It's the same. Okay.
The rubbish tax.
Rubbish
tax.
Rubbish tax, basura.
And actually, if people don't know, it's much less than it is in the UK.
And in Estepona, if you are going to end up getting residency here or whatever, if you're empadronados, if you're registered to your property, there is also a discount for the EV and basura.
That are the main tax of the property, but we have more. For example, when you come to sell, you will have to pay plusvalía tax, which is a tax related to the increase of the value of the land that you purchase. Also, you will have capital gains tax when you sell. This is basically a percentage of the profit you made. So it will be a comparison of the cost when you purchase and when you sell. And well, it would be once you are the owner of the property, and if you're renting, like Airbnb and these things, then you have to pay non-resident income tax if you are non-resident. If you are resident in Spain, then all of that will go through your renta, which is the Form 100, okay, for residents.
Tax declaration equivalent. Yeah.
Can we just go back to the capital gains, because a lot of our clients will talk to us about capital gains tax if we're selling their properties for them. And because there are some different scenarios. So, for example, if you sell your property and then you buy a property within the next few years, the capital gains tax changes. Is that correct?
Well, the capital gains tax may have some allowances depending on the age.
Yeah, as well if you over retirement age, you pay less, right?
You pay less, exactly. Also, if it's your main residency, and you invest in another residency, your main residency, you may be exempt or pay the tax. But usually when you are non-resident, here is something is key because it's by law and some people doesn't understand. When you come to sell, if I'm the lawyer of the buyer, I will have to retain the 3% of the price towards the seller's capital gains tax. And this is by law.
Right.
So the buyer has to retain that amount by law and deposit it into the tax office towards the seller capital gains tax.
Right.
This is not something that the buyer is paying. It's the seller the one who is paying. And I need to make this point clear. I mean, the tax office does this because they retain the 3%. Then the seller will have to check the cost back when they purchase and the cost when they are selling, because they can deduct those costs.
And how do they get that back? And do you help them get that back?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I will have to study the situation. I will need the invoices when they purchase, the escritura when they purchase. So I will gather all the costs, put all together. The same when they are selling, put all the costs together and deduct, the selling cost. Yeah. If there is a profit, that profit will be taxed 19%.
19.
That's important.
19, okay.
No matter if you are a non-European citizen or European citizen, it would be 19%.
Okay.
Because some people confuse that.
Yeah.
So, for example, when you come to do your non-resident income tax, if you are from abroad, third country, like British now are considered, you have to pay 24%, and you are not able to deduct any cost related to the rentals. That is very important. Right. They need to know. These are the main differences between EU and non-EU citizens, I would say. Okay. But with the capital gains tax, it's for everyone 19%.
Okay. And I mean, when you talk about that, if you're sort of listening in, you might feel quite scared that you're not going to get your money back. But the whole point is that you're representing the client all the way through, from when they sell or they buy, all the way through the process. So that guidance that you offer is really important, and you explain that quite clearly when a client onboards.
Our matters don't close. We don't buy or sell a property and we close that matter. We have it open for a year afterwards, and we're dealing with that client. We don't just stop we then help them with electricity, with utilities. We help them
some
with
clients,
internet alarms.
That's
do not
interesting,
understand, the procedure in the background, the post-completion arrangements.
There's a lot.
So once you sign, you've got loads to do. You have to register, you have to change utilities, as Alex says. You have to also prepare all the changes, pay the pro rates.
We do always do utilities.
Right.
When it comes to internet alarm, that's not something, which we are, it's more of that sort of property management, I suppose.
Yeah.
But if somebody is really stuck, of course we're not going to just say to our client, no. You sort it out yourself. We, of course, are going to help them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting that you help change over the
Everything.
utilities. I
We
think
do
that's...
we'll put everything on a package, because we need to make sure those contracts are chained into the new owners. And there is another reason too, because if the seller cancel the contract, then for you as new owner to get new contract will be more costly.
Yeah.
So that is very important to agree on the deposit contract too.
Absolutely.
Because then you will end up paying more to reconnect than to just change the name.
Yeah.
And the huge inconvenience of being without that service for,
Totally.
So this is something that you have to agree to.
Yeah. One question we get asked all the time is about visas. So one question we get is, if they buy a property in Spain, are they okay to stay here?
No.
Well,
look, it depends on their nationality.
Yeah.
So if someone is non-EU, no, you are going to be abiding by the 90-day tourist rule that there is. If you are able to get a non-lucrative visa or self-employed visa or digital nomad visa, which we can assist with, Leticia, one of our lawyers, sorts that out.
Sorting visas and residencies.
Yeah, then that's that's something that we can assess. I mean, obviously the digital nomad visa, all of the visas have requirements.
Yeah.
But you can't just purchase the property. In the past, it got phased out in March this year. But if you purchase a property of over 500,000 in value, then you could apply for what was called the golden visa. But now that's unfortunately not available anymore.
It's not available anymore, unfortunately. So
yeah, no, you can't just come here and live here.
You need a visa or a resident permit.
Yeah.
If you are not EU.
If you are EU,
you have freedom of movement.
You have freedom of movement, but if you are going to become a Spanish resident and stay here for more than 183 days, you would need to obtain the EU certificate from the police station just to register yourself as a tax resident.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because we have lots of EU clients. We have lots of Dutch and French.
Well, we've assisted a lot of Irish people, for instance, who have freedom of movement, and we've then got their partners or their spouses. We've got their
because we've
their
also
residency.
experienced lots of American clients recently as well, and that obviously is a non-EU country. That's sort of the same rules apply, right?
Yeah. No, totally, exactly the same. And all of these visas, well, digital nomad it came out in 2023, so that's fairly new visa. But the non-lucrative and everything has always been available to non-EU citizens. It's only since Brexit that obviously we've had to, take all of this into account. But I would say the non-lucrative visa is sort of AKA the retiree visa.
Right.
Digital nomad is more for those who are still employed but can be allowed to telework, so work in Spain, but their company has to allow it, or if they're self-employed, they have to have sort of permission from their clients or whatever.
Right.
And then there are other visas, self-employed or getting a contract in Spain, things like that. They're just a little bit more difficult.
So how easy would it be, for example, for someone that is self-employed that wants to live their life in Spain, and they want to come over and buy here?
It's not difficult, but you need to have a business plan. You need to have a solid business plan. It's going to go through, the UGEC. I think that was called. So the company, the government they're going to analyse your business, check that it's okay. And if it's not solid, then unfortunately it wouldn't be accepted. But it's got to be able to be innovative, bring money into the country.
Right.
Perhaps even you'd be able to hire people. Or I don't really know. That's Letitia's side of things.
Right. Yeah, they can come to you and you can give some more advice on that.
But yeah, I don't think it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. I think there are prerequisites. I think the non-lucrative visa is a fairly standard easy visa.
Yeah.
You need to show that you've got sufficient proof of funds. You've got no criminal record. You're not working. That kind of thing. That one's pretty easy.
And then you have to get private healthcare, presumably,
yes,
as well.
Need private health.
Yes. Okay.
And
for
then you have
all
to
the
think
visas.
about if you like to be tax resident in Spain or you want to keep your tax residency in your country, in your home country.
Right.
Because that is very important just to choose the visa.
Okay. That's interesting.
Okay.
But regardless of which visa any of our clients choose, you're able to assist
we'll be
them
able to
with
assist
it.
them. Yeah.
Regarding inheritance, would you advise people to make a Spanish will?
Of course, we always do. It's very important to, as soon as you purchase any asset in Spain, we strongly recommend you to get and to prepare a Spanish will. Why? The reason is simple. First of all, because you can choose your national law to apply if you wish. So, for example, here we are in Spain. We have to leave 1/3 to our kids, to our descendants. So, in your law, in your country, in England, for example, you can choose your national law and just mention who you will like to be your heirs. So you can choose your spouse, your sister, your friend,
Charity,
your dog,
your dog, anyone. So that is very important. So
that's the difference.
That's the big difference.
Yeah.
So the Spanish law will apply in your inheritance if you haven't made a will.
Okay.
So hold on.
But
so you
it's
have
not the
to
only
leave
reason.
1/3 to your children.
Yeah.
Yes. It's compulsory here. Yeah. And
so that means you need to love your children.
but also there is more differences. For example, if there is cost. If you don't have a will, then it would be the procedure, translation of documents. It would be it would be costly.
At a very difficult time for people.
It would delay, and it's a very difficult time for your heirs.
Yeah.
So it would delay things. It would make things more complicated and more costly.
So
that's
people
why.
should have, say, like if they're English, for example, they should have a will in England for their property there, and a will in Spain for their property.
This is what we
here.
advise.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be the best. But at Nockolds, for example, we are able to check your UK wills because we have experts in UK, and also make sure the Spanish will aligns perfectly with your wishes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that gives peace
we
of
make
mind
sure
for
there's
sure.
nothing revoked or anything like that. No, it's fantastic.
We add that value to our work.
Absolutely. It does really help the fact that you have offices based in the UK and here, and then you have that cross communication. I think it really works.
Yeah, we have that communication with our colleagues.
And they come over here as well, don't they? So if somebody wanted to sign a UK will over here or English will, they can do that.
Yeah.
We have our team, probate team, Ollie and Katie, they come over here and they sign wills, and they sign English and Spanish wills at the same time.
Yeah.
The only difference is a solicitor can sign your English will. You'd have to go to the notary public in Spain to sign
absolutely. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it's something personal. I cannot do that by power attorney. It's an act. It's we call personalissimo, something that you do.
Right.
Yourself.
You would have to, as a client, come to Spain to sign your Spanish will. Flor would go along with you to the notary public, but it can't be that you tell us to go to the notary public with your will in hand.
We cannot do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have another colleague, Javier, that is able to also sign Spanish wills in the UK.
Okay.
And then it would be a different process to register because we have like a kind of registry in Madrid. It's a central register. So all the wills signed are kept there. So this system is just any time that we have to request the certificate of last will, then that entity would tell us which one was the last will the client made.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. It's a really good point. Some clients can't travel over. Perhaps they're limited, or they're getting a bit older or whatever, and that's true. Javier can go to the notary public in the UK and can identify notary public where that person lives. So let's say it's one of your clients who has had a fall, or they're just getting that bit older, can't come over. They'd sign their Spanish will before a UK notary public. It would get legalised.
This is the good thing about our company. Yeah. So we can see your situation and just put solution on the table. Yeah. And we have this communication crossover, so we can work in the UK or here in Spain.
It's to our clients' advantage, absolutely. for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's probably why the two companies get on really well, because it's solution led. A lot of time you can see so many obstacles in your way when you're come here to buy, and actually it's just about finding those solutions, because there always are solutions.
There always are.
And I think that's not just British clients, that's all of our clients.
All of our
EU and non-EU clients.
You just need to understand the client situation, what they would like to achieve, and just make the process as easy as possible for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
We understand sometimes legal procedure, bureaucracy is not something that you want to go through, but we are here to help.
Yeah, and make it smooth.
Make it smooth.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think another question we get is sort of what advice people would give about where they should buy their properties. And we always sort of say that you should always buy somewhere that has got some sort of defining feature, or it's got good views, it's got good space, good outside space,
good location.
It's a good location.
Yeah.
As a lawyer, what sort of would you give any advice on where they should purchase, or what type of property they should purchase?
Well, to be honest, if the client asks me my opinion, I can give an opinion on that. But I think that the estate agents work mainly. So I can give an opinion on the project. I can give an opinion, but every single person is different. So something that you feel that is appropriate for you, it may not for another client.
Exactly.
So I don't interfere much in that.
Okay.
We may have some clients who come in with a rural house. Remember, that kind of thing. That might be where it's a little bit more kind of, okay, there might be a few more red flags here.
Yeah.
But so they fall in love with having acres and acres of orange trees or whatever. That's where that might be a little bit more like, oh, okay, hold on, let's not get too excited yet, because we don't know if this house is even legal.
Yeah, exactly. Because in rustic land, that's another area, and we have to be very careful. Because the property may not have the license in place. And there are solutions. We can register the property by providing a report from an architect if the property has the certain antiquity.
That's made me think of a point that another thing that our clients ask, because in England you will always have a property survey when you buy a property, and they don't do that here in Spain, do they?
No, not that often.
Not
but we do recommend.
Yeah.
Especially in big purchase, big villas, we do recommend to have a survey to see the status of the house and if everything is functioning, or structure-wise. This is more what I am concerned about.
Yeah. And so is it done in general or not?
Not every client chooses to do that, but I certainly do recommend.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
In big villas or
absolutely.
Perhaps in a new complex, an apartment, I wouldn't really recommend a big survey.
No.
But an inspection always good.
Yeah.
And advisable.
That's actually something that we recommend to all our clients that have bought new builds, is that we have a snagging service that will go in, especially if people aren't here. The developers often give, as you know, so many days for them to submit their snagging.
They give you a period also for the snagging in the new complex.
Yeah, we have.
But in second hand, it's different.
No, it is different. Yeah,
it's different, but also you need to make sure what you're buying, especially if you're putting a lot of money on the purchase.
Yeah, we have someone that we use that goes in and does our snagging, so that it's done very quickly after they've completed, because in England you do the snagging before.
I see, before you commit to any contract,
and in Spain it's the opposite, but you have that certain amount of time. Obviously a lot of things are under warranty for a longer time, but you have that period of time, so we definitely advise for our clients, and we get someone to go in and check the property, and then what we'll do is we'll be on the developer's case to make sure that everything gets sorted out properly and done.
Yeah.
Well, that's very helpful for the client if you do that.
Yeah, no, we do that as standard
helpful.
procedure.
I mean, what you've just highlighted there are so many differences between the UK and Spain.
Absolutely.
Which is why we would just recommend that you do get a lawyer, because there are so many differences that you think, it could be done this way, but it's not. It's just different. Cultural, I don't know, process-wise, with the notary public solicitors, everything is different.
Yeah, there's definitely differences for sure.
Yeah, and it's just having that. I mean, we would obviously always advise all of our clients to get lawyers, to have a lawyer, because there's just that level of reassurance that you have of buying in a foreign country, of knowing that everything's been ticked off.
Yeah.
You know, and the things that you just can't, if you haven't done it before, then you just can't prepare for.
And then you start your journey in Spain, and then, you know, for us, that's great, because we know once we've done our initial work, we pass it to you, then they come back to us, and then we can carry on integrating clients into the community, if that's what they want. Obviously, we don't force anyone, but it, you know, but if any, you know, it does help. It makes their experience so much more positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, to have a good experience at the early start is always positive.
Yeah,
getting to know,
especially when you worry, concerned, you're going to invest in another country. You need this kind of reassurance.
Yeah, you need some local contacts. Absolutely, for sure.
Absolutely, and you know, Estepona is so beautiful. It's so green and lush, and it's just a stunning place to live. But if you haven't got that community around you, it can still feel lonely. So it's so important to have those things in place.
Yeah, and I think people don't realise that Estepona is it's not seasonal. You know, there's so much to do all throughout the year. You know, so once the beach season's over, if that's your thing, then, you know, you can start taking advantage of the camper. You can still obviously go for lovely beach walks in the summer, but then you can start using the camper. Golf, I mean, there's so many golf courses, paddle, walking, you know, and then in Estepona we've got the Van Gogh exhibition at the moment. So it's a lot of culture as well.
And
then let's talk about the food. I mean, so many lovely restaurants now in Estepona as well.
There really is. Yeah, there's so much choice. It's ridiculous.
The promenade to walk through. I mean, it's stunning.
No, it's one of, I mean, I was saying to you earlier, I went on holiday. We went on a beach holiday in Spain, further up the coast, and it just didn't compare. We were just like, we need to get back to Estepona. Let's just go.
Enjoy what we have there.
It's so beautiful,
It has everything.
Yeah. So thank you then very much, Suzanne and Tracy. It's been a really, really good conversation. And thank you for as well. To summarise then, if you are looking to buy a property, Perfect Place is the best place to go. And should you need any legal advice or have any questions, please come to Nockolds Lawyers Spain.